taxes, keeping my books straight, running a profit and loss statement, it all gets so confusing. I used to spend more time trying to worry about my taxes and if I'm doing them right than I actually did working on my business. I needed a solution. That is when I found Core Financial. Core is a team of tax professionals that actually care about real relationships with their clients. From the moment I hired Core, I was able to trust that I will be fully taken care of. They run my books, keep me up to date with my finances, and make sure I'm taking full advantage of all the tax breaks I qualify for. Are you struggling to understand your finances? Do you need help making sure you don't make any mistakes? Look no further. Core Financial. Both Nick and I are huge fans of Core Financial, and we know you will be too. Check out howtofilmweddings.com/core to see what they can do for you. Core Financial. Real relationships, no surprises.
Because your goals change, you know? Because like 3 years from now, my goal was like, oh, I would love to charge 7K, 8K for a wedding. And then when you get there, you're like, oh, but there's something more. They're like, you can charge more, or there are like more beautiful wedding, better venue, better clients, better arrangements, florals. So how can I get there? And you start building your process and your strategy. And then when you get there, you're like, oh, but there's something. At least that's how I am. And I'm like, oh, but there's something more. So it's always pushing that ball forever. Like there's never an end.
Hello and welcome to the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn, and today I'm joined, believe it or not, by my good friend, Mr. Nick Miller. Nick, what is new in your world today?
Well, not a lot. Oh, hello. It's good to see your face, to hang out today on the podcast. The big thing that I think is pressing with me right now is tax season. Did you know? I mean, it's March. Tax season is coming up very, very soon. And I have a feeling that there are a lot of people listening out here that haven't messed with their taxes, haven't messed with their books, and they're kind of freaking out, and they're wondering, how much money am I going to have to pay to the government? We want to do a quick plug to one of the sponsors for our podcast, which is Core Financial. If you go to howtofilmweddings.core, fill out a form, and they can take care of everything for you. If you live in the United States, they can take care of all your taxes stuff. They can do your books. They can help you out so that you will be prepared and know what's going on at tax season. So you got about a month left before April 15th, a little more than that. So you definitely want to check out Core and their services. They will help you out. So
I don't know if you glitched earlier, but you said howtofilmweddings.core, and I just want to make sure it was howtofilmweddings.com/core. But if you go to howtofilmweddings.core, nothing's going to happen. But it is true. That's true. And I will say I have a full plan with my taxes right now because I've had them doing our books for the last several years. So I know how much I'm going to be paying, which sucks, but I know how much that is. I have a plan, and I'm not stressing out like I usually am at this time. If you're trying to get everything in order, they've done it all for me. So that is all good vibes. Another thing, which is really good vibes, which is today's podcast episode, Alessandro Bordoni. He is from Italy, now living in Los Angeles, has incredible luxury destination films, shooting all over the world, charging at the base $12,500 for his films. This guy is inspired by music videos. He talks about some of the sets he's been on with Justin Bieber or Snoop Dogg or Blink-182, just to name drop a few, but we walk through just how he's gone from $2,500 films locally to destination wedding films all around the world. We break that down, talking about customer service, how to take care of clients, how to get in with wedding planners. It's an episode full of things that you're really going to want to hear. So, Nick, I've been talking a lot, but let's jump in to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast.
Let's go.
All right. Well, welcome, Alessandro, to the How to Film Weddings podcast. Really big fan of your work. I've been watching your films for a while. They blow me away. We had to have you on the podcast. Why don't you say hello to How to Film Weddings, our listeners, and kind of tell people who you are?
I'm going to say ciao to all your listeners. And I'm Alessandro. I'm Alessandro Bordoni. I'm a dude for Italy. Thank you so much, guys, for having me here. I've been following your YouTube channel for a while. I have so many friends and colleagues that has been on your podcast, and yeah, I'm so thankful. So thank you. Yeah, I'm a dude from Italy. I started filming wedding 5-6 years ago, and then now I'm based out of Los Angeles, and I mainly shoot destination weddings all over the world. My core business is still in Italy and Europe, but I get to travel in almost everywhere also. Yeah.
So it sounds like a tough life with a lot of really ugly destinations and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's so tough, you know?
Yes. So you started 5 or 6 years ago. What got you into weddings? Were you doing other shooting before that, or how'd you kind of stumble into the world of weddings?
Well, I was shooting like events and commercial stuff in my hometown. I was just starting out, you know, and then there was this guy. He needed an assistant. He was shooting local Italian wedding, and I was like, yeah, why not? I already shoot events, why not? He paid me very good, so I was like, yeah, let's try this. I got into that world, and I was like, okay, I like it. This is a good, this could be my next thing. And I started shooting local Italian wedding. And after like 1 year, my partner, she joined me because she was helping me on a weekend, you know, carrying stuff and gears and everything. So she after 1 year, she kind of joined me fully, and so we started shooting Italian local wedding. But after that year and a half, we were like so bored from doing shooting in the same venue with the same type of clients all over again. And at the same time we were still shooting commercial advertising stuff, so we were doing both. So yeah, we were a bit tired of shooting this kind of wedding, and I was about to quit actually and do just commercial stuff, advertising stuff, documentary stuff like that. I was about to quit, and then a friend of mine, that he was shooting already a destination wedding, he called me, hey, can you assist me? I have this wedding in Tuscany, a destination wedding with Americans client. Can you help me out? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I know how to shoot wedding, not Americans wedding, but I mean, I guess it's the same. So I went there, and I was blown away. I was blown away of how different this destination wedding was from the Italian wedding that I was used to shoot. The approach was completely different. The speeches, the vows, the venue they chose, the way they were like enjoying the venue and the surrounding and the food and the wine. It made me feel like, wow, I love this. Like, it's like a different kind of wedding compared to local Italian wedding. So I got home to my partner and I told her everything. And I think the week after we closed our website with Italian wedding, we opened a new one with my name and last name, only in English, like with the focus of marketing ourselves just to that market, to the destination wedding market. And the first step was, okay, we don't have anything in our portfolio. How can we start? We reached out to a planner in Venice at that time. I found this planner. She didn't have like great wedding video, so I reached out to her and was like, hey, I'm new to this destination wedding industry, but I have a bit of knowledge in shooting like local wedding. I would love to shoot a wedding for free for you if you have an American couple, so I can get something for my portfolio. And that's basically how everything started.
So you shot a bunch of local weddings in your town in Italy, and then you did a destination wedding, and you were like, okay, this is what I want to do. And so you had the the idea of, I'm just going to shut everything down and rebrand myself as a destination videographer, but you had no destination work. So you reached out to this lady in Venice. Man, that's a cool story, and just believing in yourself that you can do all that. So I want to know, as your destination obviously has grown and it has done very well. People check out Alessandro's work and you can see that. So how did you go from destination based in Italy to now you're in LA? Aren't you in LA half the year and Italy half the year? Kind of between both, sort of, or how?
Yeah,
how did that?
I kind of live. Yeah, I kind of live seasonally. I'm more in LA right now, and I try to stay here more because it's a good headquarter, let's say. But I spend my summer in Italy, so I would say from June to September, 3-4 months, I'm usually in Italy or Europe, because most of my destination weddings are there on that side of the pond. So yeah.
I'm so jealous of you, man. It's like, okay, so you stay in LA until it's really hot, and then you go spend the summer in the most beautiful place on the planet. Sweet. That sounds like a win.
And when it gets cold there, I just come back to LA.
I want to be Alessandro when I grow up, Nick. What do I need to do? No.
Yeah.
So how did that decision, go about, you deciding to move to America and live here, most of the time?
So starting working in Italy, it's easier because Italy is a huge destination wedding market. So there were already a lot of American clients getting married in Italy. So I started with my own website with that single film in portfolio, and I started promoting myself, and I started working with American clients getting married in Italy. Then after that, I got published in some magazine, the usual Stanley Pretty, June Bugs, the one when you start out, and I started receiving inquiry also outside of Italy. I started receiving inquiry in Greece, in Spain, in UK, and Europe is so small compared to the States. It's very easy to travel all around. You can get a flight, get a train in 2 hours. You're in Paris, you're in London. It's way easier and cheap. So that's how I started working also outside Italy. And 90% of my clients were American. So at some point, and I always been in love with California. I grew up when I was a very young kid. I had not the American, but the Californian flag hanging on my walls in my bedroom. Don't ask me why. So I don't know why. Maybe because of Baywatch or some TV show. Yeah. I don't know why. I had this thing in my mind, in my bedroom from a very young age. And I always been fascinated about the States. I came here in New York my first time 10 years ago, and then I was like, okay, I like this vibe, but I think I'm more California kid. So after New York, I came to California as a tourist. I spent a couple of months a second time, and I was like, wow, I do really love this place, the vibe, the people, the weather. It's like in the movies, from an Italian guy, it's completely different. I think it's the kind of experience that you have when you go to a very old country like Italy and everything looks so different. It's like the opposite thing. So after a few years, I actually brought my partner here with me because I was like, oh, you gotta see it, you gotta experience that same thing that I fell in love with. So we came here for a couple of months as a tourist, and she was like, wow, this place is amazing. And most of our clients are from the West Coast or East Coast. So we were like, why don't we move there? Since we do destination wedding, we can basically live everywhere. But since our clients are Americans and most of them live in California, why don't we just move there? And so we're close to them. And yeah, that was one of the reasons. Another reason of moving here was when I started out in Italy, I wanted to work with the most popular wedding planner. But there was no way I could, because I was new to the business. They were already working with their own wedding videographers, so there was no way to get in. It's a very close industry in Italy because it's so small. And the only way you can work actually with a planner it's to pay a fee. A 10% fee, and that's mandatory in Italy. Everybody asks for that. And the higher is the fee, the higher you get the chance to work with that planner. And I was like, I don't really like this thing. I'm not a fan of that. And I was like, and still, I don't wanna, 10%, 15%, it's not an auction, I just wanna somebody hiring myself for my services, for the quality of my work, for the personality that I have, not because I give you the higher fee. So moving to the States was also a good move to skip all that process, because now I get my client here in the States, so I went straight to the source, let's say. So they hire me here. They feel more comfortable because I live by the rules. I live in the US, so everything is more what they used to do, like contracts, meeting. Everything is more like they feel more comfortable because they're dealing with somebody that's not American but live by their own rules in their own countries. I pay my taxes here and everything. But at the same time, I have experience in Europe, especially in Italy, so that it's that kind of double layer of comfort, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another reason moving here, to get the client here and being hired here, and then when they fly to Italy and they find the wedding planner or they choose their venue, they're good with a wedding videographer because they already got me here in the States. And sometimes I can also help them, and I love that. Sometimes they're like, hey, can you give us some tips, some advices, because we want to get married in Tuscany or in UK or in Spain, but we don't really know how things are done there, how we should do, and I'm happy to help because that benefits me as well. So yeah, that was another reason. Yeah. And another reason, again, additional reason to actually that made me move here in California. I always loved music video, documentary, not really feature film, the music industry, let's say. And this is the place to be. So I wanted to take the next step and learn more and get to work with inspiring people, inspiring clients. And I mean, Los Angeles, everything is here. So there was another reason besides wedding. I was like, I want to be in a place where I can learn from different backgrounds and then blend all in for weddings and for other personal projects. And yeah, that was also another reason.
I love it. I love it all. I'm just sitting here listening to his awesome accent. Like, man, I wish I sounded like that. I wish I lived there. I wish I shot like him. No, I do want to ask.
I'm trying to get better. Sorry about that.
No, I like it. Don't do that. What I was going to ask too. So why don't you paint a picture, kind of 2020 for us? How many weddings are you kind of ballpark you trying to shoot? And then for the listeners out there, just to kind of show ballpark a range of what you're charging for some of these films.
Okay, we're trying to shoot an average of 15 weddings per year. Because shooting destination wedding, it's not easy. It's a challenge because you get to travel, but it's a commitment. It's not just one day shoot. Most of the time it's like 2 days, 3 days. It's a whole weekend or a whole week sometimes. So it's very challenging. And we love to travel. We're a couple in life, we're a couple in business, so it's easier for us to travel and to stay in a place longer than the actual wedding. And we're pretty free. We don't have kids or animal home, so we travel very easily. But at the same time, traveling all over and arranging all the logistics, it's something that takes time, Mm-hmm. So that's why we wanted to keep our number of weddings limited to that, like 15 weddings per year. And also we have like personal projects that we're involved in, and so we kind of want to find the right balance. And especially now that I moved here in LA, I started directing and shooting music video, and that's something else that I do love to do. So yeah, it's all about finding the right balance. So that's why we want to keep our number like around that amount. Yeah. We charge for destination wedding. We start at $12,500. That's our starting price. In that price, we include the travel expenses, but not the accommodation. We include the travel expenses because most of the time they're in Europe. We know how to get around, or sometimes we're already there for another wedding or for another reason, so we prefer to deal with flights and book our own flights accordingly to our schedule instead of and save the client of that thing, so it's something we can do. So that's our starting price, $12,500 with the flights included, and then they take care of the accommodation, because sometimes they close good deals with hotel or venues for their guests or for their vendors, so they squeeze us in the same venue, which is way better, so we can stay close, especially if it's a 2 day, 3 days destination wedding. At least we're there all the time and we don't have to drive or be too far. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, I think that helps too. One thing that I've noticed when talking with other destination wedding filmmakers is to include, some of that travel in the cost. So it's a service to the couple because they're not having to try to figure out your flights and your schedule. B, they're not going to book you something that is, a red-eye flight or terrible flights, and then it just makes it where it doesn't feel like they are getting nickel and dimed. They don't feel like, oh, we have to pay for all the travel too. You can just say it's all included in this price, and that psychologically really probably makes a big difference.
Yeah, especially with these kind of clients in the high-end market. These kind of people, they're wealthy people, but they're also super busy, so they don't want to waste time in dealing with this stuff, in booking your flights or your things. They just want to be like, what's your price? Okay, we can afford it. We want you. And I'm just, okay, that's the price. I'm going to be there. And my goal is to make things easier for them. As much as we can smooth all that process. From the very first time they inquire us, actually, we try to get them on a call and ask them what their needs are, how the wedding will be, in which venue, give me more details, what you're looking for, and we felt that doing that on a call, it's way easier, it takes us way less time, and after that, when we send them a customized proposal, it's a specific one for them. We don't send them everything, all the output, all the packages, all the services that we have, because that's overwhelming, and they don't have time. These people, they're busy, they're traveling, they have businesses, so they don't want to spend hours browsing through all your packages, all your options. They just want something that it's already 90% customized to what they need and what they told you. So yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're listening out there and you definitely want to get into both the destination market and maybe the higher end market, what Alessandro is saying is if you just build them something where it's just easy for them to pick and choose and then they don't have to think, that is going to go a long way to helping you get those clients and just showing them that you're a professional and you're taking care of everything. And people would rather pay one fee than maybe a smaller fee, but then another fee and then another fee, adding all of that stuff up. So one lump sum is a great way to go. Here in a second, we're going to take a break and listen to one of our amazing ads from our sponsors. But before we do that, we wanted to plug our Facebook group, facebook.howtofilmweddings.com. You go there, you can enjoy the conversation. We are critiquing each other, we are helping each other, we are encouraging each other. So make sure that you join the How to Film Weddings Facebook group. So tell me, what CRM do you use? If you're not sure or you don't know what a CRM is, I'm about to save you a lot of time and therefore money. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. Basically, a CRM is an online service that helps you better serve your clients. HoneyBook is both mine and John's CRM of choice. We absolutely love it. HoneyBook allows us to do all of our correspondence, contracts, and payments all in one place. One of the features that I love is the automated workflow. We all have emails that we send out to all of our clients, right? At 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, the week of. All of us do it. Automated workflows make it so that those emails can go out automatically. Since I don't have to take time to, 1, remember to send them out, and 2, to write them, I save time and make more money by working more efficiently. Are you interested in saving time on the business side of things? Go to howtofilmweddings.com/honeybook for a free 1-week trial. Also, because the Honeybooks really like me and John, we can give you $200 off of your first year, and that also comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to howtofilmweddings.com/honeybook to start saving lots of time in your business. Oh yeah, legally I have to tell you that John and I are affiliates of HoneyBook. Okay, and we are back from our break. So, Alessandro, what I wanted to do is you have really gotten into the, a luxury brand, more high-end weddings, like that kind of stuff. And you said that your base price is $12,500, right now for destination work. But I'm assuming that, when you started, you didn't, your first wedding, you just like, oh, we charge, $12,500 for this. So why don't you maybe kind of talk us through some people if that is their aspiration, is the high-end luxury market or the destination kind of market, what steps would you recommend going from where I am now to that sort of stuff?
So in my case I was charging $2,500 in Italy shooting destination wedding my first year, and that was the average in the market. So the first thing I would be aware of your market, because every market is different, especially European market and US market are so different with destination wedding. And also in Europe, Italian market compared to UK market or Spain market, they're so different, prices are so different. So I was charging what was the average in my Italian market. And then I went for the big guy. Ray Roman came to London for a workshop, and I was like, oh, let me check this guy. Everybody talking about him online. I went there. I was more interested about, he made 2 days of workshop, and the second day was all business related. I was interested in that one. And he showed his prices and everything, and I was like, wow, there are actually people out there spending $10,000 at that time. No, he was charging $9,000. He was starting around $9,000. I was like, wow, there were actually people spending that amount of money in wedding. That's crazy. I couldn't believe that. And after that workshop, that actually blew my mind, and we got an inquiry for a wedding in Spain. And my partner, she's the one in charge of price list and everything. She sent a proposal starting at $5,000, so double what was our price at that time. And I was like, are you crazy? That's too much. We will never get that job. Come on, we're charging $2,500, maybe $3,000, but $5,000. And she was like, hey, just let's try. I have a good feeling. And they booked us. Yes. And I was like, wow. So actually Ray Roman was the one who actually opened my mind, and I started looking outside my own market and how the different prices are, especially here in the States. So we started from there. We started from $5,000, and we started charging around that amount for about a year or a year and a half. And then raising the bar step by step. How you do that, it actually depends on what kind of wedding you're shooting, what kind of client that you're working with, what kind of wedding planner you're working with. It's all about network, and I'm sure you've heard this thousands of times. But at the end of the day, it's always about finding the right people, the right client, the right niche. So when we started, we were like, okay, how many weddings we want to shoot in 1 year? 15, okay. What's a good amount of money that we feel comfortable with in 1 year, that we feel like, okay, we live good with this amount of money from wedding, this amount of money, okay. So I guess we should charge this specific amount of money for each wedding. How can we do that? At that time was like, okay, we should charge $6,000 or $7,000, I don't remember, or something like that, for each wedding, if we want to be comfortable and shoot just 15 weddings. So how can we do that? Let's find, and we made some research, and we saw okay, people spend about 7% of their budget in wedding videography. So if that's the kind of money that we want to charge, we need to find people that are spending at least this amount of money in their wedding and not less. So how we find people with that amount of money, with that budget for the whole wedding? They all have a wedding planner. They don't plan their own wedding. So that was the first sign, and we were like, okay, let's skip all the clients, all the inquiry that they're like, oh, I'm planning my own wedding. Okay, we already know that that's not our client. So be kind, be polite, but do not try to make it happen, because it's just not possible. We went looking for a wedding planner who were like already working with that kind of clients, and photographers as well. Wedding planner and photographer, as you probably know, some of the people that can actually refer you. And we started to building our brand, try not to think just about our output, the wedding film, but thinking about the whole experience. So going out to events, shooting for free charity events, just to, you know, make connections and build your network. And yeah, because most of my colleagues, especially in Europe, they think that if you do a great wedding film, you're good. Clients will follow, but that's actually not enough. That's my point of view. You can make the best wedding film ever. You can make a Hollywood movie, but that's nothing. That's not enough. Of course, you have to follow in some quality standards, but it's the whole experience that you're providing that gets you with that kind of client, with that in the luxury market. So for ourselves was, okay, how we can get better in our film, and now we can get better in everything else. So we started like investing in dressing ourselves with tuxedo or suits. We started investing in connection, relationship with people, hanging out. Hey, can we grab a coffee? Oh, there's this charity events. Oh yeah, let's meet there and spend some quality time together. So we started doing the kind of gathering, the kind of connection. We started building our relationship and not thinking just about our product, our wedding film. And that thing was the one that allowed us to actually get in touch to inspiring people, great photographer, great wedding planner, and we kind of like built the kind of relationships, and we started working together and helping each other, and little by little growing that kind of clientele and working with higher and higher high budget wedding.
So I want to unpack a little bit of that, what you're saying here, because we've had different people on. We've had Ray Roman on. We've had Lindsay with LaRev Films on. Different people, when we're talking to people about getting into not just even the luxury, high-profile market, but a higher market, it has way more to do with who you know than what you know, and it has way more to do with, you know, the connections that you're making. So many of us, I think, sit in our Facebook groups or in these different, you know, forums and say, hey, look at my film, it's awesome. And it is awesome. There are so many people that are making better films than Nick or me or you that are charging way less just because they're not thinking about the business and how they're going to do that. You know, you can't be like if you're not in connection with some of these planners or some of these people in your city, you're not going to even have the chance to do these weddings that have these higher budgets. And then, you know, you said you're making all these relationships, and now you're able to get more weddings. And so it kind of is this snowball that, or this pushing this boulder up a mountain. You got to get going. You got to get some shoots. So that may be a free wedding at the beginning, and then pushing the boulder a little further, and then working with a planner or reaching out or doing a charity event, and you're pushing this boulder. And I'm sure, Alessandro, and I want to ask you, kind of now that you've been doing that for 5 or 6 years, how much easier is it for you now to get, you know, are planners just contacting you saying, hey, are you available? Or are you still having to feel like you're pushing that boulder way up the mountain?
I think you always have to push that ball up to the mountain, because it's like, because your goals change, you know? Because like 3 years from now, my goal was like, oh, I would love to charge 7K, 8K for a wedding. And then when you get there, you're like, oh, but there's something more. They're like, you can charge more, or there are like more beautiful wedding, better venue, better clients, better arrangements, florals. So how can I get there? And you start building your process and your strategy. And then when you get there, you're like, oh, but there's something. At least that's how I am. And I'm like, oh, but there's something more. So it's always pushing that ball forever. Like there's never an end to me.
I'm definitely the same way. I'm the same way in that. I guess my question is not if the boulder ever stops, because I don't think it ever should, whether it's creatively or as a business, but are you finding it now to where that you've made some of these relationships with some of these planners or florists or photographers? Are you getting more referrals from these people now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For example, as soon as I moved here to LA, the first thing I did, I reached out to this wedding planner on Instagram. Hey, I'm just new and blah, 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 the usual, you know. He was like, hey, your stuff is great. I'm planning a charity events here in Beverly Hills. We're looking for a videographer. Are you available to shoot for free these events? And I was like, yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know anybody here in LA. That's a good thing for me to know wedding planner and people in the wedding industry in LA. Let's do it. Yeah. I shot that event for free, and through that event I met a few wedding planners, and one of those wedding planners brought me one of the best weddings that I had 2 years ago in Europe, a destination wedding. So it's all about that, and I know the guy from Le Rive. They're amazing, and we also met at Engage a few months ago in Mexico, and that's also Engage Summit. That's also another great gathering and moment to actually meet people from the same industry and build that kind of relationship, and the kind of relationship that can get you referral and jobs later. The only thing that I suggest is do not try to shoot for the star. Like some people are like, oh, I want to work with Lisa Vors, with those like big name, you know. You have to find your own people, your own tribe, and then you help each other and build it from there.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Because there's no way you're a photographer and you go straight to Jose Villa. Even if you meet Jose in one of those Engage events, there's no way you just go there and he give you jobs. Like, it's like impossible. You have to gain the trust, because at that level, as already other colleagues of mine told you, it's not about the quality of your work. Of course, it has to be good, but it's about who you are, who you know, and can they trust you? Are you a reliable person? Are you a reliable business? Because our clients are like people that have expectations. So I want to make sure that way before you're providing a great quality content, I want to make sure that you're reliable and I can trust you. Mm-hmm. That's everything you have to build.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good. I like the point that you made about not putting your goals so high up there that like it's impossible to attain, but to have you use the name Jose Villa, who's if you don't know, he's one of, if not the best film photographers in the world. He's incredible. You want to shoot a wedding with him, having a lofty goal like that, I don't think is a bad goal, but I think your point is correct in saying to have that be the goal and then just try to go straight there. Like that's not the way you do it. It's so many of us in our businesses, right? We set these goals, but we don't have an action plan how to get there, right? We just say, oh, I want to charge $5,000 for a wedding, but like you're just hoping that, and hope is not a plan, right? It's just a hope for it. So if you can, okay, in my local market, who can I get to know? Who can I talk to? Who can I network with? Who can I work with so that maybe they can refer me to maybe this little tier that's up a little bit, so then I can work really hard and be a great person and be transparent about everything and be a great person to work with, so that you can continue to build that network up so that you can move up the ladder in a good way, right?
Yeah, it's all about the experience that you're providing with these people and the people you work with. Still today, if I have to, I'm the first to say to a wedding planner, hey, I'm swinging by your town, or maybe do you have anything in that venue? I'm happy to shoot something for you for free. If you need content for yourself, for your own blog, for your website, do you need like a personal video? You need something? Yeah, let's do it. Like some people are like, no, I'm gonna work only if I get money, and that's not how you build like trust and relationships. We have skills. and we have to be generous with that. So when I meet these people, sometimes they're looking for something. They're like, "Oh, I have this beautiful wedding with like great florals arrangement, and the videographer that they got, I don't know him. I try to reach out to him. If he can send me like some footage of the behind the scene of the arrangements and everything, and I'm not getting anything. It's a bummer, because it was a good wedding." And I'm like, "Yeah, don't you worry. I'm not so far from that place. I can swing by 2 hours. I will shoot them for you for free, just because." It's about giving. It's about giving and not expecting anything. So if you give to people and you use your skills with the right people, you start building those relationships, and they trust you. They see how you work, what's your approach with people, how you blend in, because that's also another thing. When you work with that kind of clients in the very high-end market, you can just show up like a video guy with tons of gears, all sweaty. "Oh my gosh, I have to shoot that. You can't do that, because that's not professional for them. You have to blend in. You have to be like a guest, to make those kind of conversation. You have to actually blend in. So it's about like getting better at all of this stuff, rather than just shooting and editing films. And then little by little, it's a process, like you said. You set your goals, and then you build your strategy to get there. Mm-hmm. And you optimize that strategy. Of course, there's no, you go by test. You can know like before actually doing something. So you go by test. "Oh, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that. And then if it's something work, okay, I'm gonna stick to that. If something's not working, okay, but at least I tried. And now I know that that's not a thing that I should pursue. So let's go something else. Let's try a different strategy." And then little by little, you get to that goal that you set.
Yeah, I love all this. I love this conversation. I could do this all day, every day, because I think it's really important to change the mindset of the listener out there that, we haven't even really talked about how amazing your films are and how creative they are and how great they are, which is a huge proponent into this whole mix. Like, you can't just be really good with people and really good with business and be shooting a frame rate that looks terrible or have really overexposed. I mean, you're definitely, also testing, you can tell with your edits and your shooting and your style. It's obviously pretty easy to make a $10,000 floral arrangement look good, but at the same time, you need to know how to pull focus. You need to have exposure correct. You need to know how to edit that together in a way that is you. And in a little bit, we're going to be talking about kind of your editing style, that kind of thing. But before getting to that, I do want to talk just quickly about just the client experience that you have. You kind of hit on it earlier, but you really seem to strive to give them like a fully enjoyable experience. I would love to hear kind of your thoughts towards how you treat your brides, your grooms, just the full client experience when they're hiring you. What kinds of things are you looking at to really treat them well?
Well, I think one of the biggest mistake that most of people do when they get an inquiry request, they just send out everything. "Oh, these are my prices, these are my packages," and that's it. So they talk about themselves, they talk about their business, they talk about what they provide and everything. My approach is, when I get a request, I'm like, "Hey, can we get on a real quick call, like 10-minute call, so you can tell me more about your wedding, I can know more details, and then I can send you a specific customized proposal." So my main goal is to actually listen. Listen is everything, because every client is different. They come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different places around the world. So you have to know what they're looking for. You have to know where they're spending their money, if they care about flowers, if they're not, if they care about film more than photo, or it's the opposite, if they care about the venue or they care more about something else. You have to know if, especially in destination wedding, most of the clients, they care a lot about their guest experience, because they're throwing a destination wedding. They're flying all these people in this beautiful exotic location. So rather the romantic shots and spending a whole hour with them and shooting all these romantic shots. Of course they want some of that, but they're more interested in having the footage of their guests, enjoying the places, the surrounding, the food, the wine, and everything. So you have to know that stuff. You have to listen to what their needs are. So that's, I would say, it's the first step. And then it's up to you, after you gather all these details, to build something that's specific for them. And listen is everything. And be somebody that actually bring solution and be problem solving, be like reassure them on something, let them feel that they can trust you, they can rely on you, whether it's a client or the wedding planner, you know. Like next month I'm flying to Miami to meet a bride and her wedding planner, and they're getting married in England this summer, but they live in Miami, and they just felt more comfortable in meeting me in person because it's a very like high-end wedding. And I was like, yeah, for sure, I will fly there. Like, try to make everything easier for them from the very first step, not just that's something also that I learned here in the States, because in Europe the market is very different and people approaches to clients from the very first request are very different. When I moved here, I learned about online contracts, online payments, digital sign and Skype call or FaceTime, all this stuff, and I change all my approach to make things way easier for them. Now, when they inquire me, I send an email, I try to get them on a call, and I send a link that goes straight to a calendar when I have all my free day, so they can already schedule a 30-minute call with me without doing all the back and forth. Hey, are you available Monday? What time? I'm in LA, I'm in New York, blah, blah, blah. I made things easier, so I just send this link and they can schedule a call in just 1 sec. So at the end of the day, it's about the whole experience that you're providing them from the very first moment. So be nice, listen to them, make things easier, provide solution, be always smiley on a wedding, because some people after 10-12 hours working, they're super tired. I mean, I'm tired too, and you can tell that looking at their face. I saw colleagues, photographers, videographer, that sometime at the wedding be like, oh, I'm so tired, I want to go home. They look at you the whole time. You're the center of the attention. Like, they look at you, and you have to really enjoy that. You have to have fun. You have to have a smile on your face. You have to really enjoy that. You have no idea how many clients at the end of the wedding day, they came to me, clients or like guests or parents, like, hey, you were so amazing. And I'm like, well, you didn't even see the video yet. Oh yeah, but you were just, we already know that, because it's the whole experience that you're providing from the very first moment to the last one. So yeah.
Yeah. John and I, one thing that we definitely preach on this podcast is, serving your clients very, very well. And that's not just on the wedding day, like you're saying, from initial email inquiry all the way through, delivering a film, how you're presenting yourself, how you're talking to them, how you're communicating with them. It's all super, super really important. So we are up on another break. So we're going to take a break here. And when we come back, we will talk and ask Alessandro our question of the day presented by Wedditor.
Do you remember that wedding from a month ago? Yeah, like that one that you needed to start editing yesterday? But you also need to prep today for your wedding tomorrow, and you're leaving for your first vacation in forever on Monday. So what do? It seems that the only creative part of your edits are the excuses you're going to have to give your clients. We have the solution: Wedditor. Wedditor is a team of top wedding editors, project managers, and account coordinators that help us wedding filmmakers edit. They match the right editors with your style so you can spend your time where it matters most, on your business. Nick and I both use Wedditor, and we don't know how we would run our companies without them. It takes a team to build an amazing business, and you shouldn't try to do it all on your own. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/Wedditor to help you free up your time so that you can focus on growing your brand. Be sure to use promo code HTFW for $50 off your first project. Wedditor, more than freelance, more than outsourcing.
So tell me, what CRM do you use? If you're not sure or you don't know what a CRM is, I'm about to save you a lot of time and therefore money. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. Basically, a CRM is an online service that helps you better serve your clients. HoneyBook is both mine and John's CRM of choice. We absolutely love it. HoneyBook allows us to do all of our correspondence, contracts, and payments all in one place. One of the features that I love is the automated workflow. We all have emails that we send out to all of our clients, right? At 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, the week of. All of us do it. Automated workflows make it so that those emails can go out automatically. Since I don't have to take time to, 1, remember to send them out, and 2, to write them, I save time and make more money by working more efficiently. Are you interested in saving time on the business side of things? Go to howtofilmweddings.com/honeybook for a free 1-week trial. Also, because the Honeybooks really like me and John, we can give you $200 off of your first year, and that also comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to howtofilmweddings.com/honeybook to start saving lots of time in your business. Oh yeah, legally I have to tell you that John and I are affiliates of HoneyBook. All right, well, we are back from our last break, and now we're going to jump into our question of the day presented by Wedditor. Wedditor, more than freelance, more than outsourcing. And this is our question of the day. Alessandro, how do you be a creative and a business person at the same time?
Yeah, that's a nice question, actually. Well, you start as a creative, like everybody else. You have this thing that you like and you love, and you start doing that and getting experience, and then you start charging some money, and so basically you start as a creative. And then you have to get into the business side of it if you wanted to pay your bills and, you know, be financially stable with that. Keeping the balance, it's the challenge. I would say when I shoot and edit my films, I try to do that not from a selfish point. So I try to use my creativity, and from everything from visuals to audio and music, but not being selfish, but also keep in mind the client needs. And blend everything together. That's how you blend in creativity and business, because that's business. If they say like, I want my own tea, or I want that specific person's speech, and even if you don't love it, you have to find a way to blend it in and not be, oh, I don't like it, that's not cool, I'm not gonna make it. No, you have to, because that's a professional, that's business. So blend in your own creativity and the client's needs, yeah. What else?
It's a good question. Just to spring it on them like that. You can take your time, because that's a deep question. I think a lot of us struggle with it, is like being creative and running the business. I think we lean one way or the other. So
yeah, I think I'm lucky about that, because my partner, she's the one. We're a couple in life, so you know, finding that balance between like working to personal life and business life, it's not easy. And we think that the only way possible is to actually splitting the different roles, and okay, you're gonna take care of this thing and I'm gonna take care of this thing. So in our business, I'm more of the creative director and she's more the executive producer, because she's very good in she's a very rational person, so she's very good in handling numbers and logistics and planning flights and hotel and back up all the footage, and charging batteries and make sure that our gears are fine when we start a wedding. And I'm more the creative side of our business. So I deal with a couple. I try to empathize with them and try to find that common ground where I can blend in my creativity and their needs as well. So I think we're lucky because we are two different persons, and we manage to, of course, we talk about everything because it's a husband and wife business, but yeah, you have to have different roles. If you're on your own and doing everything on your own, I would be a mess dealing with my own invoices, contracts, scheduling calls and stuff like that. I'm such a mess with that, and so my suggestion would be outsource that. There are so many great people out there that can like take a lot of work out of your shoulder, like Weddit, for example. They edit amazing films, and yeah, if you don't have time or you feel like you're more good in shooting rather than editing, you have to outsource those things that actually that you're not good at. That's your skill. That's like understanding what you're good at and what you're not that good. That's the thing you have to outsource to somebody. I'm lucky that I could outsource all the business side to my partner. If you're on your own, just outsource that to so many companies out there or people out there. There are so many professional people, especially here in the States. There's really nothing like that in Europe, but here in the States, so many choices. So yeah.
Yeah, I think so many of us try to just do it all because it's, something that's on fire and in our face, so we have to deal with it. And it's like, I suck at making sure my taxes are right, so I'm hiring a tax professional to every month look at my books. Did I do everything right? Is everything good? I'm not trying to do anything wrong. I'm not, but help me, and so same thing with HoneyBook or Weddit or whatever it is. There are so many options. And even if you're solo or you're working with your spouse or whatever, being, we talk a lot about self-awareness, just being aware of who you are and what you do really well. And I always felt guilty, if I wasn't the one editing the film, and it's like, now I feel like I have a wedding this weekend coming up and I'm so excited to shoot it. It's a very high-end wedding and I'm not like dreading the edit because I want to overshoot it because there's so much to get, and I don't want to miss out on any little bit of it, and then be able to send it to Wedditor or my editors and say, get this, like take this footage now, and that gives me a freedom to be more of me. And if I were the opposite, where editing was my thing, just being aware of exactly who you are and trying to get better in certain areas, but you can double down on the things that you do the best. And if you're really, Alessandro's really creative on the shooting, well, his shots during a wedding day are incredible, and he's able to focus on those because he's not worried about the batteries, or he's not worried about whether a tripod's in the right spot.
You have to invest your time in the best way. So, and as you say, you have to be self-aware. At the beginning, I was like you. I was like, no, I feel guilty to outsource my editing or outsource some part of my business. Actually, especially when I moved out here in LA and I started working on other production, not wedding related, but music video documentary, I started working with huge team, like full crew, even of like 50 people, and I started like to learn how people can work together, outsourcing things to different people, and I was like, I can still make sure that my edits are good and be in charge of and being kind of the art director of that and monitor everything, but I don't have to do the job. I can have somebody else that I can rely on, and I can like supervise that. And I learned that here in LA, working in this huge production, because I was a one-man band. Even with my partner, it's just the two of us, so it's you do everything from start to finish. Working with huge production here in LA, that helped me to take a step back and say, okay, what I'm really good at and what I'm not the best, okay, let me outsource that. So that's worth it.
Yeah, that's definitely a big pill that a lot of us have a tough time swallowing, is recognizing the things that maybe we aren't strong at, or just realizing that you do own a business, and while someone else is going to do a really good job for you, I think it's hard, just that control, saying they don't care about it as much as me. No, maybe they don't care about your business as much as you, but can they do a really good job that maybe even better than you can do? And if they can, then it's definitely worth handing that over. So great thoughts on that. We are in line. We are in line with you there. One of the things that you go ahead.
No. Because you're always running your own business. They're not running your own business. You're still in charge of everything. You're not doing the job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Like if you look at a CEO of business, like their job really is like future planning, like looking ahead and like growing the business kind of stuff. They're not doing the day-to-day, everyday stuff. So anyway, just something to think about. One thing that you mentioned, so you've moved to LA, and you're starting to draw on lots of different backgrounds and stuff. We're running short of time, but I want you to touch on this. So what are some of the, you're talking about documentary music videos, you mentioned that a few times. What are some of the projects that you're working on? And maybe, you can name drop, that's really cool. Some of the people that you've gotten to work with and that kind of stuff. And then after you talk about that, maybe share how that working on music videos and stuff has influenced the wedding videos that you're able to create because of that.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I always loved music video, and when I moved out here to LA, I reached out to a few music video directors, some like very popular one, like, hey, I'm an Italian dude, I'm willing to do anything you need, can you just be my mentor? I was just straightforward like that. And this guy that I really, I was looking up to him, and he was like, okay, let's try, come on set that day. We just start a conversation and we'll take it from there. And he appreciated my approach, my work ethic, and he started bringing me with him on like huge sets. And thanks to this guy, I got to work on set with like huge popular artists. Like 2 days ago, I was with Snoop Dogg on a music video. Or in January, we shot a 14 dance video for Justin Bieber. I met one of my when I was younger, I was in love with Blink-182, this punk rock band, and I could meet them on their music video shoot. Ariana Grande, Lil Wayne, Travis Barker. I got to work with so many interesting and artists thanks to this guy, to this director. And that's helping me every single day. This guy, this director, the way he handled everything, he handled the whole crew, that also helped me a lot in what we were talking earlier about outsourcing stuff and being in charge of everything. Like a CEO of a company, you don't have to do everything. So his skills, rather than just his vision, his creativity, one of his biggest skill is actually see value in people. He saw value in me for a specific thing, and I'm shooting behind the scene for him with this, interviewing these huge artists. He saw value in me and he brought me with him. He see values in other people like editor, DP, gaffer. That helped me a lot to actually put myself in my wedding business more in a CEO position. Let's say, okay, let me take a step back and try to really build a company here and not just run everything on my own. That's from a business point of view. From a creative point of view, that also helped me a lot, because I really love music, and my films are very like music driven. So I really added to the beat, and I really follow that feeling, and still working in that environment helped me to better understand every single day how visuals can blend in with music, and how I can make it my own and translate that to my wedding films. I would say, the music approach and how to blend in with visuals, that was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. That's huge. And I mean, there's so much more to draw from. I mean, I know, we could talk for a while, but if you watch some of Alessandro's films, you can see that it's definitely not inspired by current trends or other filmmakers. It is, hearing more about like your music video background and all that, it very much shows in your films. And so they're beautiful pieces of work and pieces of art, and we're very, very thankful that you took the time in your busy schedule. We were scheduled Friday, but then you were like, hey, sorry, you're gonna have to push back, I'm hanging out with Snoop Dogg today. And I was just like, all right, fine.
I can say no.
I'm happy with just being able to tell people that the guy that I was gonna have on the podcast was busy because he's hanging out with Snoop Dogg. So but yeah, I
that sounds good.
You just never know what opportunities you're going to get by reaching out and having good work ethic and taking the time and building it, layer upon layer for your business. So there's so many things that you can glean from this episode for your time. I really appreciate you, Alessandro, and it's cool to meet you. I know I've been a fan of yours for a while, so be able to take an hour out of your day, we really appreciate it. I know the listeners appreciate it too. Before wrapping up, where can people find you? Where's the best place for them to see some of your work?
You can thank you guys for having me. It was great. I wish we had like 5 more hours so we could talk about everything.
Yes.
They can find me on my website alessandrobordoni.com or my Instagram Alessandro Bordoni Films.
Okay.
And thank you.
Of course.
And thank you for providing value to this community. What you're doing, guys, it's amazing. And especially me coming from Europe, where there's nothing like that. There's not that kind of community and like the kind of feeling of helping each other and getting better as a community or all together. I really appreciate what you're doing, and because I was not used to that. So keep it up.
We'll do our best. So thank you so much, everybody out there. We will link to his Instagram, obviously, and his website in the show notes. Thank you so much for the time, and we will talk with you soon.
Thank you so much, Alessandro, for being on the podcast today. We really appreciate you taking the time. He spent a lot of time talking about client communication and client care, and we wanted to let you know at howtofilmweddings.com you can purchase our client questionnaire and our email templates. These go together so that you can communicate with your clients effectively and also know what's going to happen on the wedding day with that wedding day questionnaire. That's howtofilmweddings.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher, and until next time, we will see ya.
See ya.